Support for Bone Lake comes from Depends Real Fit Incontinence Underwear for Men. Engineered with brand new moisture wicking technology and cutting edge real fit fabric. This is Depends comfiest underwear yet. Go to depend.com/bonelake and enter offer code OOPS, that's OOPS, to get 2% off your purchase. Depends. Real fit underwear. Will you ever need to use a toilet again? Depends on who you ask.
Are you an inquisitive person? When presented with what many perceive as the cold hard truth, do you feel compelled to question it? The reason I bring this up is because several weeks ago, I was contacted by Bernie Spears. Bernie claimed to have information regarding a money laundering scheme based in Bone Lake.
Something's amiss. Something absolutely ain't right in this town. There's just too many little coincidences for me to just sit around and watch and do nothing. And I'm about had enough of this place and the shit that goes on in this town.
From Mark McGrath's Marketplace and Fiends, How Friends Was America's First Satanic Sitcom, I'm Kenny Clarkson. This is Bone Lake. Chapter 1. Something stinks in this town.
Before we begin proper, a little about myself.
I began my career writing the pet gossip column for HuffPost Appleton.
After a 2-week stint there, I became a Yelp ambassador where I largely focused on writing reviews of northeastern Wisconsin sausage houses.
This is how Bernie found me, and how he knew he could trust me.
My Yelp username is Mark McGrath Fan 315, and Bernie recognized it from the forums on the Mark McGrath fan site that I run. He sent me a private message on Yelp regarding a scathing review that I wrote about Witt's Sausage House in Bone Lake. Like me, he had nothing but negative things to say about Witt's. However, he also claimed to have some inflammatory information regarding them. He said he needed someone like me from the big city to come and shine a light to what's happening in this town. Eventually, he said he'd prefer to talk over the phone, if possible.
Hello.
Hi, is this Bernie?
Yeah, it is.
Hi, Bernie, it's me, Kenny.
Oh, hi. It's so good to finally speak with you.
When we spoke, it had been 6 months since he first messaged me on Yelp. I was skeptical when he first contacted me, but when we spoke over the phone, that changed.
He told me he had hard evidence regarding this money laundering operation, but felt uncomfortable sharing it over the internet. He told me what he'd found would blow Bone Lake off the map. I was so intrigued by our conversation that I decided to drive to Bone Lake and meet in person. I wanted to see for myself.
Hey, Bernie, oh wow, it's so great to finally meet you, man.
Hey, Kelly.
It's Kenny.
Oh, I'm sorry. Come on in. Don't mind the mess here. It's let me show you around.
Have you been in Bone Lake your entire life?
Yep. Born and raised. Yeah, my parents were from here. My little cousin, he's the only one that actually moved out of Bone Lake.
What does he do?
He services carnival rides. You know.
Yeah.
Goes from town to town.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I'm really jealous. He's kind of the trophy child of the Spears family, honestly.
Oh, this is a great painting. Is this someone in your family?
Yeah, it's a picture of my dad.
So he was a police officer?
Well, kind of. He was a assistant deputy, or assistant to the deputy of Bone Lake for many years.
That sounds like a very high up position, though.
Yeah, we got to hear a lot of good stories, or well, not always good, but interesting stories, that's for sure. He raised us right. But yeah, that's him. That was an illustration that my mom did of him. I know he looks kind of skinny in that picture. It was a little bit before we lost him.
Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
So, Bernie,
Yes.
why am I here?
Well, thank you first of all for, responding to me. A lot of people, I've been reaching out to a lot of different people in the local newspaper in town and on Craigslist forums. And, a lot of people are just kind of writing it off. They don't seek the truth like you do, Kenny. That's the thing. And I just knew when you started responding to me, I knew that we had a real story here on our hands. And so first of all, just thank you for talking to me about this and making your way over here.
Before we begin proper, give me a little history of Bone Lake.
Well, Bone Lake, it's in Polk County. It's about 710 people that live here. Well, now it's 709 because, like I mentioned, my little cuz, he finally got out of here.
And your father,
Yeah, yeah, thanks for reminding me. So I guess
708.
708. And,
Do you update the...
well, everybody in Bone Lake knows everybody in Bone Lake. You know what I mean? We all know each other.
I'm from a pretty big city. I'm from Appleton, so I don't really get that same sense of camaraderie as you do in a small town such as this.
Well, what's the population?
There's at least 10,000 people, if not more.
Wow, I can't imagine. I bet you have all sorts of things going on there that you can't even wrap your head around.
We have a convenience store on every block. There's at least 3 McDonald's. It's a pretty vibrant city.
Wow, I wish we had a McDonald's at least. But there's talk about Arby's or something opening up about 20 miles from here. But
That must be exciting.
well, I don't want to get too excited just yet because we've been promised a Taco Bell before and that didn't go through. Something with the village president. But yeah, the average income here in Bone Lake is about.
We don't need to get this far into it.
Well, I'm just trying to paint the picture of how poor we are around here.
Okay, please continue.
$12,000 a year.
That is appalling.
Well, there aren't a lot of jobs here, I know in Appleton there's all sorts of opportunities, but, and I've been told, why don't you move out? Why don't you move out? This is my home. Generations of Spears have lived and died here. I refuse to leave. But when I smell something fishy, I'm going to investigate it, and I want to get to the bottom of what stinks. And something stinks in this town.
So, tell me about Witt's Sausage House.
It's precisely what stinks. You hit the nail on the head, Kenny. It's with sausage, and that's how I found your review, actually. Very compelling review that you wrote on Yelp.
Yeah, so as you know, or don't know, my primary source of income the last few months has been being a Yelp ambassador, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's a pretty high up position in the Yelp hierarchy, and I write reviews for sausage houses all across northeastern Wisconsin. And when I was looking into Witt Sausage House, they claim to have the best sausage in the central portion of northeastern Wisconsin.
Well, yeah, that's what they're going to tell you. That's what they tell everybody in this town.
And when I went there, well, first off, their hours are kind of insane. They're open from midnight to 4:30 in the morning, Monday and Tuesday. They didn't seem to have any sausages even inside. And what is the story behind this?
The thing is, Kenny, let me tell you, they're saying that they're family owned and operated since 1947. I tell you what, I got all sorts of records here that show, first of all, we don't know who the Witt family is. And if they've been around since 1947, I would have heard of them. My family would have heard of them. They would know the Witts personally because we know everybody in this town. They're new, but they've been bombarding the internet with ads. Witt sausage since 1947. That's what they tell you. Best homemade sausage. I never tasted one of those sausages.
Is anyone you know?
I heard of somebody that tried one of their sausages once, but it's like an urban legend around here. I know of someone that knows someone. I'm not sure if I believe them.
No one that you know of has ever had one of their sausages.
No.
No one knows the Witt family.
No.
Then what do you suspect is happening with Witts?
I don't believe that they have sausage for sale. And I don't believe that Witts is even their last name. They're not from around here. They're not family owned. And we just want them gone.
Well, I don't consider myself to be an investigative journalist, like in any sense, really. But I do feel that I'm up for the task. I want to get to the bottom of this with you.
Kenny, you're not giving yourself enough credit here. I mean, you're working for Yelp. You're writing these reviews. What if that's not investigative journalism? I don't know what is. Because you have to investigate what you like about something, what you don't like about. How many stars are you going to leave? The fact that you can write, these long reviews, extensive, and your photos are amazing.
Oh, thank you. There is one review of mine that did get up to 40 likes, and
I was one of those likes, I'm sure.
oh, thank you. And I do feel like I do have some sway in the homemade sausage community in Wisconsin, and I take a lot of pride in that. And I want to get to the bottom of this with you. And
Until further notice, I booked a room at the motel in Bone Lake, and I plan to stay here until we find out what's going on with Witts.
Thank you.
Next time on Bone Lake, I try to gather more information about Witts and ask the locals what they know about it.
Well, the other week I was leaving the bar, and I was walking down the street, headed home. I was walking by Witts actually when they claimed to be open, one of their 3 days that they claimed to be open, and the lights were on, but the doors were still locked, and there was a bunch of cars out front with out-of-state license plates, and why are they there? What are they doing there?
And I give Witts a call to see what they can tell me about their business.
Hello.
Hi, is this Witts?
It is.
Are you open this week at all?
No, I'm not. But I'll be around. What you want?
I'm looking for some of your award-winning sausages.
They're mainly I got them frozen.
Music for Bone Lake is composed by Hai Yan. You can find us on Fredster or follow my live journal by searching Mark McGrath Fan 315. I'm Kenny Clarkson. Thank you for joining us.
Sean Juan,